Yo, what it do? It's your boy K Sims, and we're back at you with another episode of the K Phonics Podcast. Before we start tonight's episode, if you want to follow me on my social media, my Instagram is _9deuce. That's _9 DEUCE. My Snapchat is Trillmatics, TRILLMATIKS, and my YouTube channel is K Phonics. If you want to follow the studio that I'm recording at, you want to listen to the other podcasts that they have on their network, you can follow them on Instagram at The Sphere TV, Twitter at The Sphere TV, and Facebook is just The Sphere TV. All right, so we're going to kick off tonight's episode with the boxing news. As everyone knows, Canelo Alvarez is now facing a 1-year suspension from the Nevada Commission's H-page complaint that they filed against him. At first, he was going to have a hearing on April the 10th, but that now has been pushed back to April 18th. Usually, whenever the Nevada State Commission files a complaint on a fighter, he usually faces a 1-year suspension. Now, he could reduce that suspension from 3 to 6 months, depending on if he wants to cooperate or not, which most likely that he will. So, the fight on May 5th will most likely get canceled, and it most likely will be postponed until September. The MGM Grand has already offered refunds to the individuals who purchased tickets, and HBO has stopped all of promotions. Probably the face-off probably won't even air on April 12th. He should be suspended. I mean, whenever you have a fighter that uses PEDs and try to mask it by to say that they're using contaminated meat, which is a known thing in Mexico because they use clenbuterol to breed their cows to get more protein in their meat. However, he is an athlete that is the face of boxing, and he should damn well know better. This is a black fighter. We already know what will happen. Another fight that's happening tomorrow is Joshua versus Parker. I'm picking Parker to win that fight. I think Anthony Joshua is a hell of a fighter, but I think Parker has the better skills. It's going to be a tremendous fight. It's tomorrow at 4 p.m. because they fight in the UK, so that's going to be an early fight. Another thing that's been buzzing in the boxing community is Houston's own Jermall Charlo. Now, he recently did a rant on Instagram talking about how he doesn't like to fight on Adrian Broner's undercards anymore because he's a curse. He talked about Gervonta Tank Davis, talking about that he hasn't fought nobody yet and he's been with Mayweather. They've been beefing on Twitter. Gervonta Davis talked about how, the Charlo brothers is on cocaine. I mean, it's just been crazy, man. Hopefully these individuals, man, just stop the beef and put on the gloves, man. We don't want to see this, man. I mean, it's just terrible for the sport of boxing, man. So stop all the talking and put on the gloves. Another fight that's going down April 7th is Lara versus Hurd. I'm picking Lara to win that fight, even though Hurd is a very big guy, skillful, very tall, very rangy, but I think Lara has the better skills and he has to be more offensive. All right, man, that's all for boxing. We're going to kick it off into the NFL news. The biggest thing that's been buzzing right now is Colin Kaepernick versus Johnny Manziel. Now, obviously, we already know what happened with Colin Kaepernick. He protested, and he's been out of the NFL ever since. Johnny Manziel has been out of the NFL due to what I call spoiled kid problems. I mean, hell, he's a drinker. He thinks that everything should be handed to him, and that was one of the reasons why he got his ass out of the NFL. Now, they both held workouts, and individuals and NFL scouts and NFL teams actually came to that workout, but nobody showed up to Colin Kaepernick's workout. And so now individuals are comparing them. Okay, well, who's going to get in the NFL first? Obviously, it should be Colin Kaepernick. I mean, he took his team to the Super Bowl. He was the only one who beat Aaron Rodgers. He almost won the Super Bowl. Johnny Manziel ain't done shit. I mean, he just some spoiled rich kid who just ran up and down the field at Texas A&M and really didn't do anything for his team. Then once he got into the NFL, I mean, it basically just showed that like he felt like everything was supposed to be handed to him. I mean, look, the Seahawks needs a backup QB, and the damn sure needs to be Colin Kaepernick. I mean, this man should have a job by now. Just because you want to protest for police brutality and the things within the black community doesn't mean that you should not have a job. I mean, hell, it's a freedom of speech, so he damn sure should be in the NFL. Another thing that I like that's going on in the NFL is when Richard Sherman negotiated his own deal, which he received criticism for because he didn't have an NFL agent. I think this is going to spark something big within the NFL, meaning black individuals are now going to be in a position of power to negotiate for themselves instead of having an agent that's really not in the best interest for them. So more power to him, man. Another thing that's a real big story right now is Michael Bennett. Now, obviously, Michael Bennett turned himself in for the incident that happened here in Houston at the 2017 Super Bowl of him being charged with injury of the elderly of a paraplegic woman that's 66 years old. The one thing that was mind-boggling was Houston's own HPD chief Art Acevedo called Michael Bennett morally corrupt and morally bankrupt, and even stated during his press conference, while there was no surveillance of the incident, he's just going off of his officer's recollection. I mean, that is totally irresponsible that he went on national TV and said, while we have no evidence of what happened, he's basically going off of what his officer saw, and he's basically just convicted him in a court of public opinion before he could even step inside of a courtroom. I mean, I know I was damn well embarrassed about that fool going on TV and saying that. I mean, you're gonna call him man morally corrupt and morally bankrupt before he could even defend himself in the court of law? Man, it's bullshit, man. And I was definitely disappointed in him. I mean, I'm not really into the politics anyway. I don't believe that the system is for you, and this is coming from a man who works for the system. So hopefully Michael Bennett proves his innocence. However, if he is guilty of the matter, he damn well should be punished for his actions. Another big thing that's going on in the black community is Alton Sterling. Now, if you don't know Alton Sterling, this was a black individual who was gunned down by 2 police officers in Baton Rouge for selling CDs, and he got into a tussle with 2 police officers. Ultimately, on the ground, they thought he had a gun and they shot and killed him. Well, today it was brought to the attention that the officers will receive no charges. However, today, I believe at 5 p.m., a decision will be made on the discipline for those officers, whether they'll be on administrative leave, which they now are, or either they'll be paid out, or either they'll be fired, or either they'll be going back to duty. I can't say that this is something that's surprising. I mean, this happens probably every other day. I mean, the other big shooting is Stephon Clark in Sacramento. He was shot in the back mostly 8 times. What was believed to be a gun, but it was just an iPhone. I don't believe nothing is going to happen to those officers as well. I mean, this just keeps going and going and going and going and going. I mean, I don't even know when it's going to stop. I mean, people be acting surprised like this stuff just keeps continuing to happen. I mean, this is something that's been going on for years. Like I said before, I mean, the justice system, they all are intertwined. Judges, politicians, city council, lawyers, they're all going to make sure that they stick together and that no collateral damage will be given down by basically convicting officers. Because once you start doing that, might as well convict everybody, because they're gonna all start singing because they all got shit on each other. So hopefully, man, justice happens for Stephon Clark. I don't believe it's gonna happen inside of a courtroom, but I hope it happens within the black community. Another thing that went down, Fabulous, man, he punched his wife 7 times, man. I'm like, damn. He turned himself in on Wednesday, reportedly for punching his well, not his wife, but his longtime girlfriend 7 times and threatened his family. Hopefully, man, that didn't happen. I was a bit shocked at Fabulous. I mean, he's usually a quiet dude, usually don't bother nobody, but they always say that the quiet ones are the ones that you got to watch out for. So hopefully the big homie can definitely bounce back from that, and hopefully that these charges are not true. If you have not checked it out, check out Tiana Taylor's and Iman Shumpert's TV show. That is definitely a positive black couple on TV right now. They come on VH1, skip over that love and hip hop bullshit and that Stevie J nonsense and watch that show. Support that show. Empire came back on. Make sure you check that out. The Matrimony Field came out today, so we should go out and support the beautiful Taraji P. Henson. We really didn't go out and support that much for Proud Mary, so hopefully we can come out and support this movie. Another thing on the music scene, especially in the city of Houston, Trey the Truth, Hometown Hero. Make sure you go out and support that. You sleep if you have not. Definitely check that shit out, man. That shit is bumping. If you want to look at documentaries, Roxanne is on Netflix right now. There's definitely history for you, especially for us millennials who has never heard of Roxanne. You will get all of the history within that Netflix film. In the NBA right now, man, the Rockets have clinched the #1 seed, so shout out for H-Town. Hopefully we can bring this shit home, get us a championship. Another big thing that's going on right now is Mark Cuban, who's under a petition for racial discrimination because someone put a noose on a black woman's desk, Now, if you don't know what a noose is, that's basically a picture of a rope, which would signify lynching. I don't know who in the hell did that, but that is completely irresponsible. It was reportedly that Mark Cuban wanted to sweep it under the rug, which is something that's not surprising coming from him. But if he damn well just wanted to do that, hopefully they nailed his ass to the wall, because that's just ridiculous. You're gonna sweep that shit up under the rug? That's ridiculous. Another thing that I'm proud of is the Sacramento Kings partner with the Black Lives Matter and the Build Black Coalition due to the Stephon Clark shooting. Now, you can look at this one of two ways. You can look at this as a man who cares about the issue, or you can look at this as a man who cares about the optics. And the reason why I say that is because the Black Lives Matter movement actually protested outside of his arena. So in order for him to step in front of that, he needed to do what he had to do and have a partnership with the Black Lives Matter movement and the Build Black Coalition. DeMarcus Cousins and Matt Barnes agreed to pay for the funeral. So hopefully, Stephon Clark gets justice within the black community, man. So it's a lot of shit that's been going down this month, and hopefully we get some answers on all of these things. Once again, you can follow me on my Instagram _9deuce. My YouTube channel is KPhonics, and my Snapchat is Trillmatics. All right, guys, I'm K Sims. Thank you for listening to me. Fuck with me, and peace out. I'm out.